I touched your heart was the start. I play my role when I rip the mic apart. Do what I got to do, the place is rock. I'ma put it down, taking no crown anymore. From the moment I saw you, it's all gone hard to believe to a pimp like me. Used to have several women day or the week. Playtime, I put that behind. Said I'm sorry, I got to go for the sign. I lied to the man, I aim high. To the place no human has ever been tried. So I got to go, I got to go. And all I want is for you to stay. The man of the grave resurrected, now he's connected. No concession, just embedded by you. Done things that I can't even say. Trying to make up my day. God, it's so hard to regulate till I met her yesterday. How's the dirt and you the purifier? I'm the gasoline bar, you the fire. Keep it in the DL, no choir. Which makes me wanna talk like an esquire. I don't wanna push, I don't want to aim tire. Buy any juice from gold to sapphire. Cracks and jokes, sometimes set tire. We'll be careful not to get too tired. Making sure I take it higher. When we have a baby, we need to try it. That's what makes me most inspired. Whole same goes with you, baby girl.
Okay, hello? Is everyone able to hear me all right? I had to do some finagling with the audio input. Let me know if you guys can hear me, if it's too loud, not loud enough. Okay. What is up, everyone? To be honest, I am not, like, fully prepared for stream today. I am very tired and very out of it, but, I knew if I put off stream one more day, it would probably not happen, because that's where my energy has been lately. Okay, wait, so I'm getting some people say they can hear me, some can't. Long time no see. I'm sorry I'm not active as much on Discord. Okay, so people can't hear me. No, don't apologize for the Discord thingy. I have been very inactive on just about everything the past couple of weeks. We've been hard at work on Persona Danganronpa. Let me turn this down a little smidge. Let's go like over here. I need something without lyrics because that's gonna mess with me. Please, something with no words. Good enough. Yeah. So as you guys already all know, Persona Danganronpa has been an absolutely massive project. Like, upwards of like 15 people involved, either illustrating, voice acting, editing. So all of my like free time that hasn't been spent, either, you know, working, like door dashing, or spent with my girlfriend has been going into that. So I haven't really been able to stream or, you know, do any of the funnies online, but I want to rectify that today. I can't promise it'll be the most energetic stream from me, but it's been a minute, and I miss talking to you guys. So I'm going to finally do at least as much as I can, as much as the energy will allow, the proper Persona character ranking. I've tweeted a couple of tier lists before. I'm sure some of you guys get this as well, but my Persona character rankings wildly vary depending on the day of the week. And I've never done a proper, like, this is how I feel about the character tier list. And, you know, since it is like a day or two after my birthday, I wanted to stream on my birthday, but had some stuff come up. I thought this would be a fun little self-indulgent, let me ramble for a little bit, and I can also update you guys on some YouTube stuff. But yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do today. Very low energy. I'm not expecting this stream to do numbers. I will do my best to keep an eye on both chats though. Let me just grab my phone here and set it up so I can see both chats while I do this. In the meantime, though, everyone go ahead and tell me how your weekend is going. I know a lot of people probably started school up again this time of year. How's the school year going? Okay. All right, I've got YouTube set up on my phone. Tomorrow quote from Persona 5, take your time. Thank you, Shanks. But yeah, so I do want to give a small update on Persona Danganronpa. Right now, I haven't posted a lot about it too much publicly lately. I want to let everyone know that it is, I don't want to say most definitely, but very hopefully going to be uploaded this upcoming Friday. It almost was released yesterday, but we need to get some finishing touches done on it. But the video right now, it is fully soundtracked. It is like 98% edited. All the voice acting is done. We're just working on the thumbnail right now, as well as some final little tweaks in the video, some animation, some swapping out music. But it is practically done. If you're a Patreon member, link in description. This isn't me shilling, but I'm hopefully gonna upload the full part 1 sometime this weekend on Patreon early access. It's not fully done, but it's enough for Patreon. It is going to be part 1 in probably, I'm estimating, a 4-part series, which sounds like a lot. When you compare the entire Persona Bear series, it's like 5 parts right now. So 4 parts for Danganronpa sounds like a lot. But which Persona characters have survived Danganronpa has easily been the most requested thing of me, like, on YouTube ever. And I didn't want to, like, rush through it. So we're, like, doing our best to fully animate, like, each day. We want to go Insano style with the trial, you know, full... Thank you, Kev. I had to take my headphones off. I didn't know how loud that was going to be. But guess what, bucko? It's dono time. Kev, just be careful. I don't want that to start a chain reaction. We have a habit of doing that around here on streams, and I don't have the moral power to deal with that today. But thank you for all the birthday wishes. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I am reading chat. I'm just skimming. I will look at Twitch in a second. I see you guys. I see you're popping off in there. But yeah, Persona Danganronpa, it's done. Sort of. Part 1 is. Very good part. I think it's very funny. And I'm excited to see your guys' reactions to it. I have it set up in a way that I want to implement a community theorizing element to it. Where there's going to be like little awards for people who can properly guess like what's going to happen. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. Keep an eye out in the next couple of days. There's going to be a lot more updates, a lot of polls about it. But yeah, let me take a look at Twitch chat because I haven't really been reading it. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. VixMix, Dan, Chief Beefinator, Zoranta, Jeppo, Joe, will you be watching Gamescom on Tuesday? Apparently R2G will have some stuff they're announcing. I'd like to. I've got some stuff going on Tuesday, but I am excited to tune in, even if I am driving. I got a cat last week and she pooped on my curtains. I hope you cleaned it by now, Banana. I love you too, Dr. Dan. Thank you for building this parasocial relationship. Thank you, Camerupt and Banana, for both following within 2 seconds of each other. Oh, you tickle my Danganronpa brain with that one, so that will be fun. Wait, so you're not actually Teddy? Oh, they're talking in chat. But yeah, before we get started, I will show you guys a little clip of Persona Danganronpa. I can't show too much, but I'll show just a little bit. I really hope there's not spoilers here. But yeah, here's a little sneak peek. I'm making sure there's no spoilers on the screen. Okay.
Hello, everyone. You might be wondering where I am right now. And well, it's a funny story. In the last episode of the Persona Versus series, we pit the casts of Persona 3, 4, and 5 up against a zombie apocalypse. The teens put up a good fight, but in the end I was given, let's say, a lucky opportunity to up the stakes and give these kids their most gruesome challenge yet. You think you might have seen it all before, but what we're doing today is on an entirely different level. Because 16 of our lucky contestants today are going to be forced into one cramped high school where the only means of escape to secure their own survival is by getting their hands dirty and competing in a high-stakes killing game. So grab your kitchen knives, seesaws, and a bucket of popcorn, because welcome to Joke's Peak Academy!
And then the intro, this animation, it's not done yet. We always try to go really intense on those, but it's not done.
So as per usual,
I'll show you one more little piece. I want to show you guys how crazy the animations for the character reveals are. Let's go over here.
So anyways, you tells the group it would probably be best if they introduce themselves alongside whatever these ultimates are.
My name is Yu Narukami, and I suppose I'm the ultimate socialite.
Look at how cool it is! Look at how good you sounds!
Deciding to back his partner up and help build momentum, Yosuke steps forward as well. I guess if we're doing this,
yeah, I'm
screw it.
voicing Yosuke.
My name's
It's the only
Yosuke.
other character I've voiced.
I'm the ultimate sidekick. What the hell is up with that crap?
And there's a joke about me voicing Yosuke.
Oh, geez, senpai. I can't go having you showing me up. Yo! The name's Kanji Tatsumi. I'm the ultimate, biker. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's all I'm going to show you guys. I'm sorry, I know that's, I'm doing what I do every stream where I delay the actual topic of the video. But yeah, the animations are sick. The voice actors are really good. I originally wasn't going to voice Yosuke because I feel like it's really lame it takes out of the immersion a little bit if I'm voicing another character. I originally voiced Monokuma. I did in the little teaser at the end of Persona Zombies, but after we got like 20 minutes into the video, it was too much to have me talking to basically myself the whole time. So I ended up finding another Monokuma. They are excellent. I always get their username wrong. I think it's That Bunny Dude, or That Bunny Guy. He is excellent. Yeah, so I am stoked. And I will also respond to the comment that said, did you kill Haru in the intro? No, I did not kill Haru in the intro. That's just a visual gag. Haru is in the video, and I will give you the spoiler that she does not die in part 1. So do with that as you will. Anyway, the voice actors are really good, especially the one who does Yosuke. No, honestly, I personally have never really heard the Yosuke voice comparisons for me, but I only voice Yosuke because there are a few cool transitions between Yosuke talking and me talking that I think are a fun in-joke, because a lot of people comment that I voice Yosuke. I've done the Yosuke voice for a couple fan dubs before, so I don't know, I thought it'd be funny. And also, I couldn't find an adequate Yosuke for the most part, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just do it. But I purposely try not to have him talk a lot in the video, because I don't want it to, just sound like me gassing myself up. see. No, why doesn't she die? Nah, Banana, come on, hers not that bad. Whoever you got for Teddy is really good. Yeah, the Teddy voice actor is phenomenal. I don't want to reveal too much. I'm very excited. I want to see people's reactions. We'll be doing a like YouTube premiere next Friday when it is released, so make sure you guys set some time aside in your schedule for that. I don't know how to play FNAF, and I don't know how Danganronpa works, but I'm still hyped. Thank you for the first time chat, by the way. Amazing to have you in here. But yeah, I'll be sure to talk about it more. Just hire the real voice actors, Joe. It's not that hard. I tried, but you know, unfortunately, Yuri Lowenthal doesn't like me. So next time. What's up, Phoenix? Thank you for the happy borf. But okay, I have to do this tier list, otherwise I'll be accused of clickbait. So when it comes to me with Persona characters, a lot of you guys know my general feelings about them, or so you think, based on my videos. I've never really done an official character tier list outside of like a Patreon video that I never actually fucking completed, and I feel really bad about that. So we're gonna rectify that today. Here's the thing. There is a noticeable difference with how I talk about Persona characters in my videos and how I feel about them genuinely. For the most part, that only applies to some characters. When it comes to the Persona videos, you kind of have to do a lot of like flanderizing, because you're talking about at least like 30 plus 40 characters in a 20-minute time span, which means you have to make cuts at some point or break down a certain character to a key trait or two. So like you'll see in the early, like the first half of the Persona Versus series, there are a lot of characters that I have to just kind of blitz through. So in the first Persona Bear video, there was like, oh, let's just go ahead and throw all the meek children in the pile. So we instantly kill like Fuka, Futaba, Ken, and Nanako while we're at it. So that's like 4 characters in a 10-second bit. And that doesn't mean I don't like these characters by any means. It just means I didn't have a lot of interesting things in that particular situation to say about them. And that's kind of led to a lot of assumptions about how I feel about certain characters. So someone like Futaba always kind of gets the short end of the stick in the videos. And that's not because I don't like Futaba, far from it. I just, you know, some characters just have to get, you know, the shorter end of the stick. Are we going to include the Persona 1 and 2 casts? No, I would like to, but I haven't played their games yet. I still plan on doing that on stream. But we will be mainly doing the party members from Persona 3, 4, and 5, with some notable exceptions. Hi, Jaylee. Thanks for playing GeoGuessr with me while I was inebriated last night. That was a fun time. But yeah. Let me take a quick look at Twitch chat. To be honest, it's going to be a Persona fan gun. Yes, in all honesty. Okay, last time I'll talk about Persona Danganronpa before I start this tier list. Although, to be honest, I could be done here and everyone would get the idea. It is less in a style of like, oh, here's how I think they'd survive a Persona game. And it is more, this is basically a fan game that I am narrating. So it's going to be a long series, but I think you guys will enjoy it. But okay, tier list. Focus. Get your ADHD in check. You don't need your Adderall to do this. But yeah, so there are going to be some characters in here I have a lot more to talk about, and others I don't. And I am going to kind of jump around so we're not just being too repetitive and tedious. Put Akechi higher on the list. Maybe later, but he is top 3. Top 1, to be honest. And I will actually talk about Akechi later. This is a good baseline. It sets a standard for this list. Okay. So, starting off, I am actually going to address all of the protagonists at the same time, because they kind of all fill a similar role, and I don't feel like I need to explain that. When it comes to making the Persona versus videos, the protagonists are always an interesting place to start, because I usually talk about all of them in the same section, but with like very minor differences, because it's interesting. The Persona protagonists kind of don't have personalities for 80% of the time. But that 20%, because it's so little, does a lot. So for example, all of these characters are designed to be very general. They're meant to be like the vessel that you project yourself onto as the player, really helps with the immersion, so they don't give them as much personality as someone like Ryuji or Junpei, you know? But that doesn't mean they don't get it. Each character has like one trait that they get a little bit of to kind of help them separate themselves. And this is mainly shown in games like Persona Q, Persona Q2. Occasionally, with Yu in particular, he gets speaking roles in Persona Arena, but we'll talk about that in a second. But these characters on their own, they basically can be broke down to emo and depressed, cheery and depressed, Chadman friendship, and then Joker is actually kind of, in my opinion, the most bland. I'd say snarky, but like he's not really snarky. He's just kind of confident. He's kind of the most general across all of these protagonists, at least in my opinion. But that doesn't mean he's personality-less. But that means that these characters have to be ranked on a kind of different metric than all the other characters we're going to be talking about today. So here's how I would probably rank them. Keep in mind that these are probably like on average one tier lower than everyone, but not really. It's just that they're the protagonists, you know? Of these, I honestly think none of them are gonna go below B. I think Joker has an incredible design, and his pairing with Akechi and the third semester gets him knocked up a couple pegs for me. Yu has probably the most personality out of all of the protagonists. He had the Persona 4 anime was easily the most successful of the adaptations of the animes. You can make the argument that the Persona 3 movies might have been a little bit more successful, but Yu was special in a way that his portrayal in the animes affected the mainline games. Spin-off games. He got more of a speaking personality in games like Persona 4 Arena, BlazBlue Cross Tag, I think a little bit of dancing. I could be wrong about that. I haven't played much of those games. But he actually has a personality, and I really like that about him. As for the Persona 3 protagonists, I feel like this is kind of a divisive opinion to have, but they are probably my least favorites, which is funny because they probably have maybe the most bearing on their stories out of all three. By the way, sorry about the Macy's ads. I don't have a proper efficient ad blocker. But yeah, I personally think Makoto, while it's funny, you know, door boy memes, hysterical, amazing end to Persona 3, I personally find him a bit boring. Not boring, but the least interesting. I also feel like his original voice acting, Yuri Lowenthal, I love Yuri Lowenthal, top 5 voice actor for me, but I don't feel like his voice fits Makoto that well. I think Alex Lee's version of Makoto is actually way better, way more fitting for the vibe they're going for. Yuri fits way better for a character like Yosuke anyways. Take a sip of my water. But yeah, he's fine. I'm not crazy attached to him like I am the others. And Kotone is kind of the same thing, but she gets bumped up an extra tier because not only is she a female protagonist, which we are lacking a significant amount of, but she's got jokes. I thought a lot of people kind of talked down on Persona 3 Portable for it kind of defeating the point of Persona 3's vibe with being this like sad, depressed, you know, atmosphere game, and having Katone be all cheery and, you know, energetic kind of defeats a purpose of that. I don't agree. I actually think it's very cool that there's this element of the Persona 3 protagonists are both incredibly depressed. But Katone is kind of the other form of depression that can manifest in people you would never expect it. You know, there are a lot of people who are cheery, outgoing, and you'd never expect it, but they're depressed and they're hiding it. And I think Katone does a really good job of embodying that side of mental health. So between her being a little quirky, she's got a few good running jokes in my videos, which has made me bump her up a few tiers. And, you know, the whole mental side of it, I actually think she deserves to be an S tier. I'm actually going to move Joker down because looking at you and Katone, I just think they're on a different playing field. It's because they have personality and more shit going on. But the Joker design, if we're talking physical appearance, S tier, can't be beat. I'm going to take a second to drink some water and read some of the chat. Katone sells Mitsuru picks. She's number 1. I don't want to die on that hill, but that is the joke that I always think of when Katone is just batshit crazy, and I respect that. She's aggressively positive. Yes, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah, someone said, I like how in the manga, it's just, I'm sleepy. That's kind of what a lot of the Makoto Yuki personality comes out to for me. It's the, I'm sleepy or I don't care, which is a fun and easy joke for me when I'm scripting videos, because, you know, Makoto being just kind of this quiet, depressed asshole is a good punchline, and it makes it really easy to write him into scenarios. When I'm thinking about my personal affection for the character, it's just kind of a bit more boring, but that's just me. Xander had more personality in the anime and no actual personality they could use in their spin-offs. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. In games like Persona Q and Q2, you get to play as and interact with the protagonists of Persona 3 and 4. Sorry. And even in Persona Q2 with Katone. But how do I put this? In Persona Q2, Joker is essentially filling out the same role as he does in the base game, where he's a silent protagonist that you take the wheel of to experience the story, whereas all the other protagonists get a little bit more room to flesh out and be their own characters. Now, I know in Persona 5X, Joker gets to be not the main character for a minute. I have not experienced too much of that story in Persona 5X, but from what I've heard, he's still kind of just Joker. There's not really a lot to latch onto there, so he does get bumped down a peg for me because of that. But no real hate, to be honest. Let me take a quick look at Twitch chat. Jeez, Jeppo, I'm sorry, I'm missing so many messages. Joe, do you watch any wrestling? And no, I do not. I'm sorry. We got anyone from Trinity Soul on the list? I don't think this list has Trinity Soul characters, but I haven't watched it anyways. Surprisingly, we got a lot of Persona 5X on this list, though, so there's that. Funnily enough, though, I do want to mention about this tier list. After I put out the, I think it was Persona FNAF video, there's a joke at some point where I'm like, we've done it. Every main Persona character, and it slowly has the girl from episode I guess slide onto screen. And this icon was not on the list while making that video, so I've always wanted to reach out to the creator of this tier list, at Rakos, And I've always wanted to ask if this icon was added to this list because of that video, but I don't want to be narcissistic. But I've been curious. If anyone knows, let me know. Okay, so we have covered the protagonists, as we should. It is now time to ask you guys, who do you guys want to hear me talk about, from main party members or secondary characters, from Persona 3, 4, or 5? So go ahead and put it in chat while I catch my breath. You guys know me. I ADHD ramble far too much than I should. So I get a little tired. But this is a good chance for funny chat engagement. Guys, Miku's not on the list. I can use fake Miku if you want, but I don't think I have much to say. Okay, I'm seeing some teddies. Hanako. Who is Hanako? Am I blanking right now? Oh. Oh, guys, I don't have opinions on Hanako. I don't feel comfortable talking about Hanako. I don't even think Hanako's on this list. Is she? No, Hanako's not even on the list. Why are we asking? Okay, Yusuke and Ryuji. Miku, Elizabeth, Hanako, that girl that destroys Yosuke's bike. Guys, I have never heard anyone in this community ask for Hanako opinions. What is the joke here? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you guys that Hanako is B tier because I thought she was a queen when I watched my friend play Persona 4. I don't have any other opinions than that. I see some people asking for Teddy. We have the Teddy Persona 4 in chat. So I'm gonna give my opinions on Teddy because I actually think he's a character that I haven't gotten to talk much about. So infamously in the Persona Versus series, Teddy has never really gotten any time to shine. He is not properly addressed in the Persona Bear video. I remember the joke was we silently add him to the tries to fuck the bear and dies tier, and we never discuss it past that. In Persona FNAF, he is just thrown into the not considered a threat dumpster. Persona Island is probably the most he's had to do, and that's because he gets kidnapped and we fake out people with the suit. And then in Persona Pokemon, we just give him all the bear Pokemon and move on. It's not really an interesting segment. And then finally, he does survive Persona Zombies because he just walks around and gets latched onto. But people don't I've never gotten to talk about Teddy much. And it's honestly because I don't think that Teddy's an interesting case because I think he's not as bad as Morgana in regards to how much at the peak ceiling of frustration he gives me. But he's still really fucking annoying. And that entirely comes down to the fact that I think Teddy is two different characters. There is Teddy when he's in the bear suit and when he's outside of the bear suit. When he's in the bear suit, he's like around B for bear. But when he's outside of the suit, he goes in D. So I think that kind of lands him around C or B for me. But I think there's a very important point that I want to make, and that's actually I'm going to wrap in Morgana into this conversation as well. Because I think they tried to do what they did for Teddy with Morgana, but they completely missed the point. it is very evident to me replaying Persona 4 that the joke with at least the English translation of Teddy, I know that he's kind of written differently in, the Japanese version, but the writers of Persona 4 know that Teddy is annoying, and they make that the joke. There are so many scenes where Teddy does something annoying, and everyone gets annoyed and walks away. They know he's a frustrating mascot character, and they use that to elevate the narrative. And I think that works. And two examples that come to mind are when they are outside the hotel, when they go on the Persona 3 trip, and I think Teddy's like, I'm so tired, can someone help me? And everyone walks away, and you have to try to push Teddy into the room on your own. But they make sure that everyone is just as annoyed with Teddy being there as you are, and it wraps around to being charming. And then, of course, there's the famous "Only humans have rights" line from Naoto in the, third semester trip, whatever. Sorry, I'm actively losing my voice. I'm sure you all can tell. But they don't really try too hard to make Teddy a sympathetic character for the majority of the time. Yes, his social link and the Nanako thing, they try to make you wrap around and be sympathetic towards him, but it's not the focus. Morgana, on the other hand, they make insufferable for like 80% of the game. They try to do the Teddy thing where he's like, oh, I'm a quirky, loud mascot character. But like they also try to wrap in this like, oh, no one understands me. I don't know what my place in this world is. Blah, 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 blah. What am I? Am I a cat? Am I human? Am I a shadow? Whatever. Very similar to the Teddy realizing he's a shadow arc, But they don't see the frustration in it when they're writing Morgana. They want you to sympathize for him. They want him to be a sad boy that everyone, emotionally connects with. And it doesn't work. And it's infamously known that in the Okumura arc of the game where Haru joins and Morgana throws his little temper tantrum, it doesn't work. It's so frustrating. There is no sympathy to be had for Morgana. He's being a little pissant brat. For a lot of people, it happens when, like, Ryuichi says, like, oh man, with Futaba being here, you're gonna be useless. And then Morgana throws a fit after making fun of Ryuichi for the entire fucking game. And I get the idea is it's supposed to be this like slow, progressive build-up to Morgana feeling useless with the introductions of characters like Makoto and then Futaba and blah, 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 blah. But it doesn't work. And I think my hatred for the Morgana character has only elevated my respect for Teddy, because it makes me realize, okay, Teddy is fucking annoying, and he's like a creep to the girls, and I don't want to like, validate or justify that. But at least they knew what they had, and they didn't try to do much more with it than that. Morgana feels like a 13-year-old's first roleplay character that they want everyone to think is cool, and he's just not. And I know it's kind of a hot take. I know there are a lot of people who don't like Morgana, but there are some people who do. Now, personally, if it weren't for the Okumura arc, he would probably float closer to C or D. I think he's fine in a lot of the spin-off materials. He basically amounts to just being the voice for Joker. And he's got a few good lines in there every once in a while. But with how bad the Okumura arc is, it's effectively a stain on what is an otherwise like unblemished story or game, barring a few undesirable child-shaped holes in the wall. It has to make me put him low. Flutter Dark, excellent point. I didn't even mention this. Morgana also uproots Haru's entire arc. He steals the standoff with Okumura. They make the crux of... Think about... This is so stupid. I'm getting, you know what? I'm gonna open a fucking beer on camera because I'm getting so hyped up about this part. Let's see if I can do this. Let me see if I can fucking get the bottle opening sound. Cracking open a cold one to shit on the talking cat. Someone clip that. Here's why it sucks. Consider this, right? Haru's dungeon. The character that, like, the dungeon that she is introduced into is her abusive dad. Not really abusive, emotionally neglectful, arguably abusive dad, who is trying to marry her away to a absolute deviant creep, unfortunately Joe Frederick looking character, and she doesn't get to tell him off. Morgana, the guy who has never spoken to him, gets to make Haru's dad the vessel for his narrative arc of being frustrated at himself. How fucking stupid is that? And everyone's like, oh, you know, Haru doesn't get a lot of screen time. Haru got shafted. And they try to say Haru comes in, like, late into the story. So, like, they couldn't have done much. No, they could have done what they did for Futaba and Yusuke and Makoto and let the dungeon they were introduced into be the vessel for their storytelling. And they didn't fucking do that! They gave it to the stupid cat who's been there since the second hour of the game. Fuck! Oh, God, sorry. It just rustles my jimmies. Morgana also forgets his character arc. He has a whole thing about my friends are more important than treasure and so, but immediately after Okumura, he goes back to shitting on his friends. Good point, Teddy. Spit your shit. On a personal note, tying Akechi being immortal to the fact he basically got unlucky by not getting a talking cat is a weird writing choice. Makes it seem like Ren, Ryuji, and An got lucky. Does Morgana lower Haru's rankings? I like potatoes. I am so glad you asked that question because I was actually going to talk about Haru next because next to An Takamaki, Haru is probably the most divisive character based on how I portray her in my videos. It's been a running joke for a long time that I have a Haru character thesis video I want to make about how Haru is not violent. And this is a real fucking thing I have. Haru Okumura is not violent script. It is a 6-page video. I'm pretty proud of this. It's a full dissection on why I think her characterization doesn't work. I feel like other characters like Makoto and Morgana actually deprive her of a lot of her personality. And based on the way that I have kind of shit on her in videos, a lot of people have taken that to mean I don't like Haru. That is not the case. I actually do like Haru. I just hate how she's fucking written. And not exactly about screen time. That is a part of it, but there's more to it than that. Let me take a sip of the beer. Getting smashed was not on the plan for this video, but oh well. Okay, let's get into this. So Haru Okumura, if we are just talking about her as a character, you know, take out the stuff we just said about the dungeon, only factor in what happens after the Okumura arc and, you know, her social link. I think she's pretty good. She's got a cute design, one of my favorite Phantom Thief, designs out of the whole cast. On top of that, I think her Tactica art is wonderful. I think this is the cutest and most endearing her character has ever been. I mean, just fucking look at this cutie. Absolutely star-studded design. I kind of wish Haru had this same level of respect across all of her inclusions. I love the hat. The mask is great. The mask and hat make the hair look a lot better in this context. When you just see the forehead, it doesn't work as well. But with the hat, the hair is great, you know? But we're not ranking this based off looks. That's just something I've always wanted to talk about, but never had a way to bring up naturally. And she's great in Tactica, like, mechanically. She's a tank, very strong, loved using her. So I think she's good. A very charming and compelling character. I think her social link, while I don't remember much of it off the top of my head, I remember the first time that I went through it, I was very pleasantly surprised. Because I think I skipped most of it in my first playthrough, but when I played through Royal, I was like, wow, I'm actually getting emotionally attached to this character in a way that I never thought was possible. So if it were just based on those factors alone, I could see her ranking as high as A. She's a simpler character. She doesn't have as many, like, jokes about her as, you know, some other characters, which is fine. But in combination with the Morgana arc, just absolutely tanking Persona 5 for like 10 hours of the game. And this goddamn fucking characterization about her being a masochist, that's not the word, sadistic, violent character, it makes her get knocked down to around B, like by a full rank, because how much I disagree with it. So if you guys don't know, there is a stigma about Haru in the Persona community that she is a violent floof. If you go to youtube.com right now and look up violent floof, but add Haru, there's quite a few little clips here. You know, sadistic floof, we despise the police, floof eternal. Yeah, there's a few clips. This is arguably, next to her forehead and her being disrespected in screen time, the most commonly affiliated thing with Haru, because to be honest, there's not a lot of other things to talk about. And I just so disagree with this assessment, because here's the thing. Whenever I upload a Persona video and I talk about Haru, I either go in one of two directions. I either make a point of saying Haru is not a violent character, or I lean into it with, like, Island, and I make her incredibly violent. Like, I made her brutally murder Yosuke and, you know, make her the driving force to start drawing blood in Island. And in either scenario, I am wrong. I have had people tell me that Haru is a violent floof. You know, have you seen her Mementos interactions? You know, you see the way she wields her axe? She's of course violent. How could you say she's not violent? And the thing is with that, I need another simulation. In 4 games, there are like maybe 3 or 4 scenes total with this character that you can make the argument that she's violent, okay? There are the Mementos interactions, which we will come back to in a moment. There is this one line in Persona 5 Strikers where the whole group is, like, hesitant to work with Zenkichi, because, let's be honest, they've been, you know, they're wanted, you know, fucking terrorists in Japan. They've been screwed over by the police multiple times, let alone Akechi. So they're skeptical to trust this man coming into their place, be like, hey, we're gonna, let me work with you. And Haru says, sorry, we just despise the police is all. Yeah, that's kind of an out-of-pocket thing to say. The joke here is that Haru is like, you know, the sweet one, saying something a little out of pocket. But I think you could also make the argument that this is her being friendly. Like, yes, this can be interpreted as, you know, oh, Haru's saying something crazy. But when put in the context of no one in the room willing to talk to this guy, her being like, oh, hey, it's not personal. We have a bad history with the police. I don't really think that's some underlying tone of being like this crazy aggressive person, you know? So I can see why people feel this way about this line, but I personally think that it's 50-50 coin flip on how you interpret it. And then, I will talk about the Mementos interactions in a minute. There is the scene in Persona 5 Strikers where they have to drive across Japan, and Haru takes the wheel, and they do like a 20-hour drive in 3 hours or something. I will give people this 1 point as being kind of funny, but I still don't think this means she is sadistic. The joke here is that she is the soft, you know, kind of meek, charming girl that you wouldn't expect to do something crazy. That doesn't mean she's violent. That doesn't mean she's gonna start snapping people's necks. It's just a funny, you know, flip of the expectation. But again, this is in spin-off material. And as you can see during the duration of this video, at most, this is a 2-minute interaction. So that's 2 of the points. Other than that, people use the point that she wields a big axe and a rocket launcher as like, oh, you know, she's violent. Look at these big weapons she's using. I would less amount that to she is a violent character, and more they were running out of weapons and guns to give characters at this point in the game. All there was left was an axe. You've done knives, katanas, whips, cutlasses, clubs. I mean, spear would be the last one, you know, that they didn't use, but whatever. But I will give them that 1 point. But the main thing, actually, let me read chat. I haven't looked in a minute. By the way, thank you, the L-Meister for following. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I hope that's what you guys wanted out of today's stream, because that's all this is going to be. Oh god, I'm sorry guys. I've been popping off on this Haru thing for a bit. Not a bit, I believe this. Okay. So, the main thing, and this is purely based off spite for me at this point, because I get these comments like all the time when I upload. There are, I did the math in the Okumura script. Let me see if I can find it. I went in on this one. Okay. So if we crunch the numbers and calculate what percentage of lines does she have that alludes to this character trait, that being her being violent, we get a hair over 2%. So the main point that I'm making here is that there are like, I believe, what's the number in here? Whatever. The point is, like, in all of the Mementos interactions, there are like 5 or 6 lines total that could even possibly allude to Haru being a violent character. Now, keep in mind, in Persona 5, there are like 500 different Mementos interactions. And this is already in a later stage of the game. You have less time with Haru in Mementos. There's basically like 3 dungeons where this can even pop up. So it's in a late part of the game that is entirely contingent on chance. And there's only like 2% of the total interactions with Haru mention this character trait. And there are multiple other characters who have lines like this. Because a lot of these Mementos interactions are Haru being like, oh man, I get such stress relief from combat. Or, you know, it feels great to kill things. There are like 4 other characters who have that exact line. Like, I think Ryuji and Makoto both have lines where they're like, oh yeah, fighting shadows is a great way of blowing off steam. And on top of that, there are like 5 or 6 different interactions where Haru calls the like shadows cute. And not just like, oh, they're cute when I stab my axe into their fucking skull. Like, no, they have cute designs. Oh, you know, they're awesome. So this doesn't matter, right? None of this matters. But what I get so frustrated about is every time I upload a video and I talk about this, so many people tell me like, oh, Joe, Haru would go on an absolute killing spree. She would destroy the animatronics piece by piece because how violent she is. Joe, Haru's a violent floof. Have you not seen the 2 videos by Ashton MRX? No. She's not a sadistic violent floof. She is a cute and charming girl that sometimes is blunt to usurp expectations. That is it. She is not some secret, sadistic serial killer. And I'm tired of pretending like she is. Because honestly, it's a disservice to Haru's character. Because like I've said, I really do like Haru. And I might have talked myself into even putting her into A tier. High B tier right now. Maybe we'll come back to it. But she is a good character. She is charming. She is cute. She's got a good social link. And she could have had a really good introductory act. She's got a very interesting narrative with her, forced marriage thing. I think it is a better version of the Mitsuru social link. But the entire fandom, I swear, just amounts her to this one character trait that arguably does not exist. And that's been like 15 minutes talking about Haru. Maybe I don't need to upload this. There are other points I have in here about how, like, in games like Strikers, Makoto is really flanderized to be the violent, off-the-wall one, and that kind of robs Haru of even the chance of that. Okay, here's the thing. Here's what I remember wanting from Haru, because the entire last 2 pages of this thesis is, like, how I would improve Haru. Because I don't think Haru being sadistic is even bad. Like, if it was a more prevalent character trait, I think I would love it. But it's not there. I'm upset that people say it's there because I want it to be there. Because think about how much more interesting the games would be. Because there's already this huge problem with the Persona 5 cast. It feels like everyone is like, we're the heroes. We're gonna do what we always do. We're gonna stop the bad guys and do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. That's just what a lot of the game feels like after you get Haru in your party. That's part of why I love having a catchy in there, because it's like, in a game full of sugar, put a little spice, zest up the pot a little bit. But think about how much more interesting the dynamics of the group would be if Haru was this character that they like had to rein in constantly. Or not constantly, near constantly. I don't want a Darumi from 100 Line Defense Academy here. But like, lean into it. Make Haru fucking snap sometimes and make it a problem that the players have to deal with. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm gonna actually read chat for a minute. I've been tangenting for a while. We have gotten through 8 characters in this hour-long stream. I'm sorry. This happens every time I do a tier list stream. I'm very talkative, and Persona's like the thing I have opinions about, but I don't get to give my actual real opinions about Persona characters in the format of videos I make. So I use these as vessels to bitch. This is why every game needs a kanji. So true. Spiral with the Haru profile picture says, I love Haru. Thank you. Thank you, Spiral. This Haru rant has lasted my entire drive home, and I've enjoyed every second of it. I'm glad I could keep you busy on your drive. I hope you're not drinking like I am, because this rant made me open alcohol for the first time in a while. Joe, just make a series about bitching on every character for a cheap, easy video to make or something. I'm glad you mentioned that, because one, I've wanted to make a 3-part series talking about what I think are the most squandered social links in each of the main 3 games. And it's going to be a 3-part series about Haru, Yukiko, and Fuka. And I already have the thumbnail designs planned out in my head for it. But if we're talking about videos to pay the bills, you might have noticed up here in the top left, a part 2 to one fact about every Persona character. I started working on this last night. I actually had a lot of fun making that video, and it seemed to do pretty decently view-wise. Not like my top viewing video or anything, but if we go to YouTube Studio, it's actually performed very well. So yeah, I'm gonna make a part 2 to that, talking about like antagonists, major supporting characters. So keep an eye out for that. Also, I really need to pay the bills, and those are easy to edit. So let's check in on Twitch. Joe, you're not a true alcoholic if you don't do Wrestle First. I'll keep it in mind. Thank you, Super Caleb, for following. Okay, so we've been talking about Persona 5, and it's because I have a lot of opinions on Persona 5 characters. The Makoto and An rants still coming down the chamber. But I'm gonna open the floor up to you guys. Is there anyone else you would like to hear my opinions on? Any scathing takes you've been dying to hear from me? I don't trust your opinions on social links after seeing what you did to Adam's playthrough. Dude, what the fuck? Why are you blaming me for Adam's playthrough? I gave him the like best social links to do specifically for mechanical purposes. It's his fault if he didn't do enough social links, Arrow. You're gonna get uncast as Adachi and Joker in upcoming Which Persona Characters Could Survive Danganronpa Part 1, Arrow Shifter of Twitter fame, twitter.com/Arrow Shifter. You guys should go follow Arrow. He does an amazing job voicing Joker and Adachi in the next Danganronpa part. Keep an eye out for that. I once got the Waz. Yusuke, Akihiko, Kanji. Okay, very split votes right now. Putting any party members in F tier is just wild. I do want to specify that the list I'm doing is specifically just on party members. If I was including all the social links and supporting characters, all the characters in F tier would probably, at minimum, end up in D or C. Morgana just gets F because it's funny, I guess. I don't know. He's the only character that makes me actively mad. What do you mean, fame? Spoilers, Joe. Wait, what am I spoiling? Oh, spoiling that Will is Dachi. Oh, yeah. Guys, I hate to break it to you. For all 54 people, 64 people in chat, Adachi is a contestant in the Danganronpa game. Get stoked. He's voiced by Arrow Shifter. You should do Yukiko after the psychic damage. Okay. You know what? Might as well. Let's talk about Yukiko, because this was a very interesting conversation I had to have with some people last night. Had to have, as if I was held at gunpoint. Anyone who follows me on Twitter, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, at JoeFrederick348, please come check out my Twitter. I tweet all the time, and no one likes my tweets. I'm talking like maybe one like a day. But yeah, come follow me on Twitter. I'll shout you out. It'll be a good time. But anyways, some of you guys might have seen, yes, last night I put out this tweet. I'll give you guys a second to read it. Let me know when you're done. Has anyone followed me yet? Okay, well, that doesn't count. This was an hour ago. Okay. So, let's talk about Yukiko. There is a meme in the community called Yukiko Weed that some of you guys might not know about. So let's go to youtube.com and I'm gonna look up Yukiko Weed. Now, as you can see, we have stumbled upon a video called A Mom's Guide to Cannabis Introduction. Let's just go ahead and watch the first like 20 seconds of this video.
Hi, I'm Amanda Winley, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I used to have a really active career in video games and Japanese anime, but now I mainly just hang out with my kid. I'm here today to talk to you about cannabis. With a lot of states legalizing marijuana, I know a lot of people are very excited. But if the last time you smoked weed was in your college dorm room, or maybe you're new to it, either way, these videos are for you. First, let me tell you a little about my own personal history with cannabis.
Okay, we're done. So this is Amanda Winley, famous voice actress, an interesting character in her own right to talk about, but there is a meme online about Yukiko Weed. I brought this joke up very briefly in Persona Pokemon.
But also, she would get both Talonflame and Oricorio in reference to both her Shadow and Persona. Then we give her a Blossom to not only represent her affiliation with Flower Petals, but also Yukiko! Then for her fourth one...
Okay, so this is Yukiko Weed. I really liked this art. It was a bit that Adam and I got a lot of fun making in this video. So last night, I had forgotten to put a Yukiko fact in the one absurd fact about every Persona character video. So when I was researching and scripting part 2, I went out of my way to make sure that I was researching and putting in a fact about Yukiko. So I was like, okay, you know what? The Yukiko Weed fact is kind of funny because, like, a lot of people don't know that the voice actress for Yukiko has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to teaching people about cannabis. Now, I know that there's some controversies with Amanda Winley. I haven't researched those, so take this with a pound of salt. I am not making a statement about Amanda Winley or marijuana. I am just simply telling people that she has a channel about it. And then I stumbled upon that tweet. By the way, thanks, guys. Thanks for the follow. I stumbled upon this tweet, and this is an asinine thing. I think it's really weird that we have an official in-canon review of Yukiko's feet, and this is just a weird tweet to put out. So I had sent this tweet to Arrow Shifter and a couple of other friends last night. It's just weird, okay? It's just a weird thing. So I wrote a line into the script saying this brings us one step closer to the which Persona characters have reviewed their own feet video, and God help us all for that. And I don't really have a transition out of this tangent into the next one, but we're going to talk about Yukiko now. I just wanted to share that nugget of information with you all. I'm drinking because I need alcohol for this segment too. Kids, don't drink until you're over 21. By the way, this is like the 4th time ever I've drank alcohol. I want to make that clear. I didn't start drinking until recently. I'm 23. Happy birthday to me. Raise a glass. We're talking about Yukiko feet. Someone clip that. I put space at the end of it so we could clip it. What the hell are we even talking about? Okay. We're talking about Yukiko and how I feel about her as a character. Yukiko, in my opinion, kind of sucks ass. I think even if Chie annoys me more, Yukiko might be the least interesting party member in the modern trilogy of games, not including something like Persona 5X or spin-offs, whatever. I don't like Yukiko that much, to be completely honest. She's not an offensive character, so she'll go above Morgana. She doesn't annoy me, but I personally find her social link to be wildly uninteresting. A lot of her personality outside of it amounts to, haha, I'm gonna laugh for a little bit now, you guys. Someone said something silly, and now I'm gonna laugh. And that's kind of it. And I just think it's wildly uninteresting. She's got a good design. I think her introductory act is fine as is. You know, it's not horrible. To be honest, I'd say maybe D is a bit more fair. Because, like, I don't hate Yukiko. She doesn't bother me when she's on screen. But she also doesn't really do much when she's on screen, you know? And that's led to me not really knowing what to do with her in a lot of my videos. You know, like, I was able to do something pretty easy for Persona Bear. Because I was like, oh, you know, Bite of 87 joke. We finally did it. Insert the funny Final Fantasy ha 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 joke. And then the Persona FNAF video, I was basically able to repeat that because now we're actually talking about FNAF. So like, oh, funny callback. And then I got to Island, and then I was like, I should probably kill someone by now, but I don't really know who to kill. So I just kind of killed Yukiko. I still don't think she would survive. Like, I stand by my assessment that she wouldn't survive a deserted island. But what do you do with Yukiko other than the laughing joke? This is a genuine question. Please tell me. Because, like, she's not a bad character, but she's kind of, like, on in regards to she's just kind of there personality-wise. It's not bad. She's nice. She's friendly. She's got a couple one-liners, but she doesn't really have a character trait that you can latch onto like a lot of the other characters. So I kind of just killed her in Island. And then in Zombies, I don't even remember what I did with her. I think she dies during a montage. Yeah, her and On, ironically, not to bring up On again. Her and On spawned in a Costco with a sniper rifle, and they are both, I would say in my opinion, have the worst aim in the entire series, so that was kind of funny. But I didn't really like have the interest in making a full segment out of it, so I just killed them during one of the Teddy Walk cycles. But like, honestly, aside from like maybe physical design, who gives a fuck about Yukiko? Let me know. Are there Yukiko stans in the chat? Okay. Teddy said Persona 4 has the by the way, Teddy said this, grain of salt, has the most cast moments, best cast in general. People complaining about it just want perfect little puffballs. That's the thing. I think Yukiko works very well in the dynamic of the group. I agree Persona 4 has the most fun cast of characters as a friend group. But Yukiko in isolation doesn't do it for me. Yukiko is basically the airhead of the group, clueless about a lot, and a stereotypical design. I wouldn't necessarily call her an airhead, because she's not stupid. But she is just kind of there. Very book smart, somewhat street smart, I guess. But I don't know, I feel like it would have been a lot more interesting if the developers did what they originally wanted to do with her, and made her the twist villain. They can maybe do like a Danganronpa V3 thing with that. But also, I don't know if I would enjoy that. I like the villain we got in Persona 4. Okay, I'm glad to see a lot of people tend to agree. And this isn't even me hating on Yukiko. I know she's an F tier, but don't take it too seriously. Yeah, I think maybe King Kirby says that she's supposed to be like kind of a riff on like the stereotypical persona Japanese girl. You know, she's into a lot of unconventional stuff. I would like that direction of her character if it was a bit more present, but the only way that I like really remember that as someone who's played through the game multiple times is she likes ghost stories sometimes, and she laughs at unconventional things. But they could have done more with it. If they made her like a freak, made her like into what would have then been like a crime podcast. Oh, dude, wait, Yukiko would totally be a crime podcast girl. Do more with it. It's kind of like the Haru thing where they play it a little too safe for me. I guess that makes it a bit more realistic, but looking back retrospectively, it doesn't make it that interesting, I guess. Sorry gamers. Let me respond to a text from my girlfriend. You know how these things be. Hey, Persona fans in chat, shout out if you have a girlfriend. Everyone say hi to my girlfriend. Okay. But yeah, if you're asking me about like in the grand scheme of Persona characters, Yukiko's probably closer to D. She has her moments, but based on just doing party members, she goes in F. Who do you guys want to see next? Someone said hi, Fuka. Fuka is not my girlfriend. If you want to be pedantic about it, she voices Haru. She's not gonna like that I said that. She also voices Chidori. You guys are cool. If you're here for my birthday stream, we're friends, I can tell you. My girlfriend voices both Chidori and Haru in not only Persona Zombies, but also in the Persona Danganronpa series. So yeah, it wasn't nepotism though. I didn't just hire her because she was my girlfriend. We met as voice actors. So yeah. Okay, I'm seeing some Yosuke's, some Yusuke's. The villains, Teddy says. Damn, I don't know what, but half of my message didn't make it to YouTube. Really? I'm sorry, Phoenix. What did you say? Also, I was very careful about doing stream earlier today because I didn't want. Oh fuck, I'm blanking. I'm drunk. Whatever. Never mind. That thought will come back later. Okay, I'm gonna check Twitch. What do you guys want me to do? I demand Yusuke and Akihiko. Okay, you know what? Since Cocaine Akihiko is here, we'll do Akihiko. Fuck it. Also, thanks for streaming early. I can watch it now. Yeah, of course, Enzo. Did it just for you. Okay. I'll throw a couple characters that I'm seeing recommended up on this little pantheon up here. Also, I like the reload art better. Sorry. Joe, what's your opinion on seasons changing from French to English from Persona 3 to Persona 3 Reload? I think I liked it. I didn't notice that the language was different. I remember liking that song, though. Okay. Let's see. Alright, let's talk about Akihiko, because he's a very interesting character, especially in this community, right? So Akihiko has obviously become kind of a fan favorite in the Persona Versus series. I never knew, because like I've mentioned this a couple times, but I was inspired to make the Persona Bear video basically on a whim. My friend Steven, who you guys might know from Guilty Gear lore videos on YouTube, he made a video called something like ranking the like canonical power ranking of Guilty Gear characters. And I was watching it in my car in the parking lot at like 10 p.m. of like a Carl's Jr. And I was like, wow, you know, this kind of style of comedy tier list would be really fun. I kind of want to do something like this. But I would have to make it something absurd. Like, I don't know, which Persona characters could survive a bear attack. I think I could almost locate the exact message. Let me see. I'm going to turn this off for a second because I'm digging through DMs. Give me just one moment, guys. I'm scavenging. Okay, whatever. I can't find it. But that was the inspiration. I never knew that Akihiko actually canonically had fought bears before. In my mind, there was no connection between Persona and bears aside from Teddy. So in the first video, I have the line where it's like, have you guys seen how jacked this dude is in Persona 4 Arena? And there's a little line indicating scars probably gotten from fighting a bear. And I didn't know that, like, in Persona 4 Arena, it is, like, specified on screen or, like, told to you that he got those scars from fighting a bear. I've never found the exact, like, line of text this was brought up in, but it is canon.
This bear alive.
So, like,
have you guys seen just how jacked this guy is?
Scars from fighting bears, probably. And then, of course,
Arena Ultimax? Okay, so this is maybe the biggest oversight in my research I've ever made in my career, but I had no clue that Akihiko canonically trained against bears in Arena. Like, when I made this video, I thought there was absolutely no correlation between fighting bears and the Persona cast. I thought I was stupid, but apparently the writers of Arena beat me to it. So this guess of scars probably from fighting a bear, I was dead on the money without knowing it. Akihiko.
Okay, so yeah, classic Persona Joe moment. And then, of course, you know, he goes on to decimate the bears in FNAF, and he has the, you know, absolutely best part of the Persona Bear series in Island with the fight animation between Kanji and Akihiko. This was a massive deal for Adam because, like, he basically learned how to sprite animate during this, like, video. And I remember being like, oh, if you want to do that again at some point, that'd be really cool. And then he just went off with this whole fight sequence between him and Kanji. Like, look at how good this is. Like, obviously, yeah, if you looked at it over a completely critical lens, it could be kind of seen as amateur. But for a first-time sprite animation, this fucking rules, especially this shot of the, like, look at that. Look at how fucking cinematic that shit is. And I can't believe we did this with, like, no budget. So yeah, and then he goes on to, you know, do the Pokemon video, whatever. Pokemon video is kind of a burner in this series. And then he's got a massive role in Zombies with the whole Cocaine Akihiko bit. So Akihiko's gone on to have quite a prolific run on the YouTube channel. And that has increased my appreciation for him over time. But even before all of that, I still thought that Akihiko was, like, one of the best parts of Persona 3. It goes without saying, the storyline between him, Ken, and Shinjiro is, like, one of the best. Very fun character. One of my absolute favorite, funniest moments in the Persona series is a often under, like, spoken about scene. It's like when they're broken into the school. I think it's during the, like, trying to find Fuka segment of Persona 3. And they're, like, in the teacher's lounge. And Junpei is like, oh man, I'm gonna go fucking find the school test answers. And Akihiko with a smug look is like, oh, I'm gonna go supervise Junpei, make sure he doesn't get into any trouble. And, you know, it's a funny joke because Akihiko at this point is like set up as your senior. You know, he's like, oh, just as responsible as Mitsuru. But during that interaction, you're like, oh, this guy's actually, he's kind of a goofball, you know? And like, he's, you know, remarkably dense with women. You know, he's this like, you know, golden boy, handsome Chad, just walking around school as a pro boxer who everyone loves, but he's just like this big idiot. But like, you know, he's awesome and he's great in combat. He's got a great story, great relationship with Ken. Akihiko is like a top fiver for me. And I try not to let the, my like personal biases affect him in videos, but he just genuinely is one of the strongest characters outside of having their personas in the series. So it makes videos where we're talking about these characters with no powers really skewed in his favor. This was an absolute shame to me. But for some reason, Akihiko, despite being like a famous character in the series, did not get voted into Persona Danganronpa. I think he like just came up shy right behind Shinjiro. So he's not in that part of the series, which I have mixed feelings about, which I'm going to get into after I sip my my thinky juice. Okay, so Akihiko, here's the thing. He is not going to be in Persona Danganronpa, and that is a shame, because I love Akihiko. I love writing for him. There's so many good jokes with him at this point. And obviously, he could probably kill anyone he wanted in a Danganronpa scenario. Push come to shove, punch come to kick. But I'm also kind of not too bothered that he's not in it, because I'm trying to use Persona Danganronpa as an opportunity to use characters narratively that I haven't had the chance to yet. So there are some characters like, oh, hold on. Oh, I thought that was gonna give a notification. Thank you so much for the 5 shmunners, Minato Kurusu. You know what? Just for you, buddy, I'll put you over Joker. Thanks. My votes can be bought, and they should be. But yeah, so there were some characters that haven't had a lot of chance to shine in the Persona Versus series, like Kotone and a little bit of Shinjiro, Yosuke too, that I'm okay with having them take a little bit more of the spotlight. So yeah, it will be a bummer to not have him there, but I am going to try to find a way to work him into maybe like a part 3 cameo or something. But yeah, that's Akihiko. Who do you guys want to see next? I think someone said Junpei. Was it my boy LG Crusader? Yeah, I'll do Junpei since you're here, LG. If you guys don't know, LG is actually not only voicing Goro Akechi in Persona Danganronpa, but Junpei. So it's very fitting that he wants to know about Junpei. And I need to think about how I phrase my Junpei opinions, because I don't know how I feel about him. So Junpei is an interesting character. Of course, like I have to do with every character in this little stream. When it comes to the Persona Versus series, Persona Bear series, he's a fun character for me to write for. He was the introduction of the multiple timeline bit in Persona Bear, which I still think is the funniest gag I've ever written, is the multiple timelines. My favorite line delivery I've ever done is the, fuck it, just add 2 more timelines. I think it's here.
Politician, percent of the severely impacts his placement, giving him the he sort of could maybe the credits roll. I'd say he giving him the depending on his which puts politician. So I actually know what this dude's deal is, which puts
I'm trying
me
to
on, like,
find where I
definite
put it.
That strategy, and simply by nature of being a 30, not brutally die. I don't think he kills the bear. Fat chance, are you kidding me?
Wait,
This
did I
not
miss it?
brutally die. I don't think he
Wait, where is
kills the
it?
bear. Fat chance, are you kidding me? This is still Toshiro.
Okay, here
but
we
I
go.
think he could survive. Arena, on the other hand, is this taking place after the events of the game because of what we just talked about, or is it before? Arena kinda complicating things here a bit, don't you think? Fuck it, just add 2 more timelines. If the bear attack.
Yeah, no, I love that bit. By the way, thank you, Crimson, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I'm sorry that I've been very distracted, jumping from piece to piece of discussion. But yeah, so Junpei is a very fun character to write for. He's silly. He's kind of an asshole, but I've gotten some really good jokes out of him. He good bits in the FNAF video as well. And he's gonna have a lot of good jokes in Persona Danganronpa. Obviously elevated by LG's line delivery. But if we're talking about him from his source material, he's very hard to discuss because he has one of the like biggest glow ups in, you know, story arc and personality throughout Persona 3. Very good story arc with Chidori. By the end of the game, he's a total bro, but he's so fucking insufferable to me for the first half of the game. And I know a character has to start off somewhere negative to get somewhere positive. It's like kind of a Sokka Avatar situation. Like, yeah, he kind of starts off annoying and misogynistic, but it just gives him room to grow. So I'm not saying that a character has to be perfect, but so much of base game Persona 3, I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. So I don't want to put him anywhere like S or A, but he's definitely not bad. So it's probably going to land him closer to like B for me, maybe A. I could be talked into A depending on the day. By the way, thank you for all the birthday wishes, guys. I've been seeing them in chat. I've just been tangenting. But no, he's good. He can be kind of obnoxious, and he's maybe one of my lesser favorites from Persona 3, but that does not mean he's bad. Okay, we have done Junpei. Who do you guys want to see now? I'm also going to take this opportunity to plug my phone into charge, so lock in your things now. Charger, a little bit tipsy, so my face is a little red, but that's okay. Plugging my phone in. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of Kanji and Ken in the chat. Both participants in Persona Danganronpa, if you didn't know. Oh wait, did my headphones get unplugged? I can't hear anything. Oh. There we go. Gonna turn on some different music. Okay. Let's see, what do you guys want? We've got Kanji, Adachi, Yukari, Shinjiro, Adachi, Yukari. I'm seeing a lot of Adachis and Yukaris. Let me look at Twitch chat. What are you guys saying? Funny little gamers. Funny little purple freaks. Give me just one moment. Okay, sorry about that. I had someone walk in the room. So I have seen Kanji, Yukari, and Adachi show up pretty often. So let's just throw all of them on the list, and we'll decide from there. Okay, who of these characters do I think is interesting to talk about? So I don't know if this is kind of an underwhelming answer for you guys, but Adachi, S tier. I don't have anything interesting to say about Adachi that you guys probably haven't heard from everyone already. Fun character, both pre-reveal and post-reveal. Always a fan favorite in the games he makes an appearance in. I personally like Akechi more, because I feel like there's a bit more going on with that. But Adachi's just an asshole, and I really like asshole characters. So, easy S tier, top 10 for sure. But it's not really interesting. I don't have any new commentary on Adachi. So, we'll just throw him up there right now. Kind of a similar situation with Kanji, to be honest. Kanji's S tier. Again, kind of a hard character to find anything new to say about. You know, obviously there's the conversation to be had about thanking Wither Dragon for dropping a follow. Thank you so much. There's not really much to say about Kanji that hasn't already been said. There's the conversation to be had about, like, how Atlas wrote LGBT themes in 2006 or 7 or whatever that could be improved, and I'm nervous to see how they are represented in Persona 4 Revival. But personally, I don't really see Kanji too much for that. I think he's a bi king that is very funny and a good dog boy. I like him more than Ryuji, and I think he is one of the lights of Persona 4. Like, I feel like the group really starts to form when Kanji is there. He's gotten a lot of similar treatment in the Persona Versus series as Akihiko. As far as, like, animations and, like, he's fun to write for. And he's actually in Persona Danganronpa. So, that'll be exciting. King Kirby said, in my opinion, Adachi is the better villain, but Akechi is the more interesting character. I agree with that. Full agree on that assessment. Fun fact about Kanji and Adachi. So in Persona Danganronpa, sorry.
We have 1 hour to investigate and take that bad boy to trial.
So when I was casting for Persona Danganronpa, it was very close to my friend Phantom Zio audition for a couple characters, and he ended up voicing Kanji, which you guys heard a little bit earlier. Let me see if I can pull it back up. He voices both you,
And I suppose I'm the ultimate socialite.
as well as Kanji.
I guess
Biker, senpai. I can't go having you showing me up. Yo, the name's Kanji Tatsumi. I'm the ultimate, biker. Yeah, that's right.
Absolutely phenomenal job with both. I think his Kanji in particular is excellent. But he was very close to voicing Adachi. He did an excellent Adachi impersonation. I personally would have liked if I had both Adachi and you voiced by the same guy, just because, like, that's kind of the staple, Johnny Young Bosch. But I didn't want to cast 3 characters to one person, and Arrow Shifter did an excellent Adachi impersonation as well. Let me see if there's anyone else of note here before I move on. Here's a funny bit. It's one of my favorite gags in the video.
Hypothetical to the definition of ultimate.
Oh my god! We've been doing these discussions for like 3 minutes! Just look past it and move on already!
Someone's... Sorry, I just really like my delivery on that line. I took a lot of inspiration from the 100-line defense. Why am I surrounded by a bunch of clowns? Did you all come here in the same tiny car? I can't scream right now because of my throat. But yeah. Sorry, that was a tangent. Let's move on. Yukari. This is a character I actually do have a little bit of things to talk about. Not gonna be the most exciting, but it's something. Take one more swig of the thinky juice. Okay, so Yukari is kind of lumped into that group of characters where I think they are very nice, and I do enjoy them when they are on screen, but I don't have a lot of interesting things to say about her in my videos. So like On, for example, I'm surprised we haven't talked about On yet. Very similar category where I don't actually mind them in the games themselves. Like, I think they do decent enough in their group dynamics, their social links are fine, but they don't really have character traits that are easy to write funny jokes for in videos, and that has unfortunately kind of skewed a little bit of my perspective on some characters over time. And Yukari, decent enough character. She can be kind of annoying, a little too tsundere-ish for my tastes, but she's fine. But in videos, I haven't really had a lot to do with her. You know, in the Persona Bear video, it was like, oh, okay, she can maybe survive because she's a long-range fighter. In FNAF, she was one of the few characters that would just straight up leave. And then from there, she just kind of floated. But interestingly, I'm not alone in this assessment, because all of the Lovers Arcana characters, for some reason, despite me knowing that they're popular within the fandom, whenever I have done my, like, Google forum polls to vote for, like, characters to be put in a video or get a reward for, like, community champion, they have always bottom out the results. Like, let me see if I can pull this up, like the original Google form. Let me just do this really quick, because I have to pull up some private documents before I do this. Okay. So I want to keep in mind that the data we're going to see here is not the most accurate, because I did cut these votes off around the, like, 1,300 total. And since then, you know, I've had like 200 people vote. But this was the poll that we did for voting in which characters were going to be in Persona Danganronpa, because we can only have 16 characters and there's like 30, 40 main characters, so we had to find a limit somewhere. And if you look at the, like, characters you want to vote in, there are obviously both detectives made it very high up on the list, alongside with Katone, surprisingly. But characters like Rise, Yukiko, Yukari, and On, like, really bottom out these lists, like, to a concerning degree. Like, all the other characters, for the most part, pretty decent showings, all things considered, but, like, they're just, for some reason, always the bottom of these polls. Like, even if you go to, like, who do you think, who do you want to give a, like, perk to? Again, Yukari, Yukiko, Rise, On, bottoming out with less than 3% on each one of them. And, yeah. By the way, this was an intense race between Adachi or Hatsune Miku to put in the video. None of these other characters really stood a chance. Wonder started to go up a little bit after P5X came out, but it was basically a race between Miku and Adachi. We all knew this. But yeah. So, as far as my opinions on Yukari, I think she is kind of just whatever. I don't hate her. She's a decent enough written character, but she's not the most interesting, in my opinion. But I don't know. It's weird because there's such a dissonance between what I feel like the fandom agrees are like the popular characters and then what I see in my videos. I unironically really like Yukari for being the emotional core of C's. Probably A for me, especially in base game. I get that, Akechi. You know, I don't hate anyone who likes Yukari. I believe she was who I romanced in both runs I did of base game and Persona 3 Reload. I enjoy her as a partner for the protagonist more than like Fuka, but it's kind of boring when I'm thinking about it retroactively. Oh god, sorry, my throat is getting absolutely shredded. Let's see. Is there anyone I'm like have a lot to say about? Okay, you know what? I've avoided this for long enough. Let's talk about On. Because I've had to give multiple public statements on, but I've never really done a decent enough job. And I keep trying to compare people to On, and I haven't done it yet. So, strap in, folks, because this one's a doozy. I need another sip of the juice. On to Kamaki. She is a fine character. I don't hate On. She is a fun character. Her social link is fine. She does good in the group dynamic, especially in the early stages of the game when you're like still dealing with like 5 party members, including the protagonist. But she's just kind of there. After basically the third dungeon. I'll give her up to the 3rd dungeon because she's got some interesting interactions with Makoto. Not of the Yuki variety, of the Nijima variety. She's decent, but after that point, she kind of has nothing to do. She's just another one of the party members that's like, oh man, we're gonna do what we always do because it's the right thing to do. Shut up, Ryuji, you're an idiot. That's kind of what a lot of her character is for a long time. So if we're just going based off of that merit, I think it is, she's just kind of a boring character. Not boring. In the purposes of my videos, she is boring to write for because she doesn't have a character trait that I can use for a joke. She is a nice, respectable girl, and that's pretty much all I've got. You can maybe sometimes make jokes about her liking sweets, or maybe something with Morgana, but not really a lot past that. But then you get into the really hard stuff to talk about, because the only other things that you can really, like, make light to with On, aside from her being a good friend, is how the writers write her. And then you get into some really uncomfortable discussions that I don't feel comfortable talking about in my comedy videos. So, sorry, I had to take a sip of my drink. So, On has a very divisive reputation online, that I don't want to give too much of my opinion on here, because a lot of when you talk about On, you get into topics of, like, you know, not to say any trigger words, that's more for YouTube than the viewers, themes of sexual assault, over-sexualization of minors, and, like, just some general, like, uncomfortable things to talk about based on her stuff with Kamoshida and how the writers write her. Because I've personally felt like it's kind of a weird stance to take. This is really hard to talk about because after the Kamoshida arc about her, like, not getting taken advantage of and not just being seen by her peers as the pretty blonde girl, you know, being, you know, taken advantage of, the game does a lot of things to focus the narrative around Ann's appearance. You know, not necessarily her Phantom Thief design, because, you know, that's not, like, demeaning, that's empowering. But, like, there's the stuff with, her, like, having to seduce people on numerous occasions in palaces. There's the nude painting stuff. There's all of the, like, comments about, you know, that Morgana makes, occasionally Ryuji. There's the fan service cutscenes of, like, them in the van and them on the beach. And it's like, it's a very hard thing to talk about, because you get into the conversation of what is fan service and what is empowerment. And those definitions are very subjective based on who you ask. Me personally, I think there was a lot more to Ann than her fan service as a character. But I do think that it's a little weird how much of the game still relies on Ann's appearance after making the point of saying there is so much more to her than that. And that's not to say those are the only scenes with Ann. But they're just the ones that I feel like get more focus than the others. So it makes it really hard to talk about Ann. Because if you're pro Ann, you're like, some people are like, oh, you're a creep, you're in all the weird fan service stuff. But if you're against Ann, you're sexist and you're only viewing her for her, like, you know, the fan service stuff. So it's a really hard position to be in when your job is talking about Persona characters. So I have kind of just made this silent agreement with myself that I'm not going to bring up the Ann, you know, appearance and fan service stuff in videos. Because based on who you ask, it's a very sensitive subject matter, and you don't want to offend people who are either, like, have experienced some form of that in their lives, or the people who have, like, you know, the other side of that. But when you take away that, there's not a lot to talk about. And then there's this, like, ominous shadow looming over you when you're not discussing the controversial stuff about Ann. So, it's led to me in a lot of the videos I make. The joke that I put in place for Ann is that I don't talk about Ann. I call her boring. There's not a lot to talk about. So I have made the fact that I can't make jokes about Ann the joke. And that's what a lot of people think, that I hate Ann. Which I do not. It's just, as a creator, it's hard to talk about her. That all being said, when you take aside the YouTube scripting stuff, as a character, she's fine. You know, I put her in C tier. I don't think she's bad. I don't think she's remarkable. I just think it's simultaneously really funny and really frustrating to have to talk about on YouTube. Do you guys agree? I haven't been reading chat during this whole rant. I've been trying to handle this topic as eloquently and respectfully as I possibly could. Okay, everyone seems to see what I'm trying to say, so that's good. Let me look at Twitch chat. Oh boy, Ann, I agree. Okay. In my opinion, Ann is B-ish. Yeah, honestly, depending on the day, I could probably see her going in B tier. I just closed out the tier list. Fuck me. One moment. Actually, you know what? We have been streaming for about 2 hours now. My throat is absolutely shot, and we made it through roughly a third of the roster. I actually think I am going to call it there. I'd like to do a part 2 of this, maybe like tomorrow or Monday. I'll pace my throat a little bit better. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. As is tradition, I'm going to be dropping a link to the Twitch chat. As many of the YouTube viewers as possible, if you guys want to pop in there so we could raid someone. I just linked the fucking wrong thing. Ignore that. This one. Go ahead and hop in the Twitch chat, and we're gonna raid someone. I want to raid someone new today, someone I haven't raided before. Let's go to the Persona category. You guys like Persona? We can probably find another Persona streamer. Let's see. Let's go ahead and... You know what? Fuck it. Let's do the... Okay. Let me go a little more. I can't raid another Kitsune VTuber. If I do that, my reputation is over. Is there anyone streaming maybe Persona 4? Yeah, fuck it. Let's raid this Weeru VTuber person. I haven't rated anyone streaming Persona 4 yet, bro.
He's so annoying.
Alright, gamers. Thank you. Oh, wait, I need to open fucking Twitch. Sorry. You can tell I'm getting a little bit tipsy. My brain is not all there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It was a great birthday stream. I want to continue this at some point. But it will be maybe in the next couple of days. Persona Danganronpa comes out next week. I will see you guys then. Keep an eye on the channel and Discord for more updates on that. But I will see you gamers later. In 7 seconds. I will see you gamers later. I'll see you gamers later.
Yes! Oh! Joe! Joe Patrick! Vegeta! Kakarot!